Another session with Reduce on drawing on the Paintology drawing app. As you know, the drawing app is available for Android users right now, but soon to have a Apple version soon. So if you have a phone, you can start drawing with Paintology right away. No drawing experience required. So the app is available from the Google Play Store. You can see here, and you can see the some of the short screenshots here of what can be done with the app. And then typically the way I show and do the live session is on my phone, which I have right now. This is the phone that I use, and I just use my finger to do the. Sometimes I use the middle finger, and then occasionally to get to details I use the index fingers. I think that's what they call it. So let's see, what are we going to do? Well, if you've been following my previous live sessions, you will see this is the app, the home screen. And if you've been following my previous live sessions, you will see that I've been drawing a number of subjects, including cat, and then I think I drew a car yesterday to show the tones. So all the drawings are not to show off my skills or anything. It's really designed to teach you the techniques of drawing, which applies to all kinds of art mediums, including traditional. And most people, traditional artists, shy away from digital, thinking that it's a completely different kettle of fish, requiring a different skill set. Not so, not the way I draw. And I typically bring my skills from traditional to the phone, and this means I stick to a few set of tools, just the brush, and not delve too much into the all the other array of tools that you'll find on apps. So I'm able to make pretty decent drawings. You can see some I made lately. Here, this one in my yesterday's session. You can see that one drawn on this phone here. Used so this was a good example because it showed the tones. The tones are usually light dark, and in gray tones it actually stands out. And then there's another one, card drawing. That's what inspired me to do the card drawing. It's very easy to draw. Like take for example this drawing. Took me less than 5 minutes. So this was to demonstrate the your drawing strokes and your to get it confident in the your drawing skills, okay, to improve your drawing. So I don't think I have the notes here. Yeah, I do actually. Let me open it up. Improve drawing. So basically, improving drawing. If you want to be like these artists that showcase their art, you see it on YouTube and you become inspired, and then you convince yourself you'll never attain the skill sets. Unfortunately, that's what will materialize whatever you think. If you think that's the case, then that's ultimately will come to pass, as they say. So if you feel that you can achieve their level and you want to give it a try, then then good on you, right? Just keep going, and Paintology is one avenue that teaches you these rapid drawing skills that you want to get to in all kinds of medium. Even though I show it on the app, it's designed to teach you techniques and designed to rapidly build your skills. So you can see that I can make photorealistic drawings on the phone, and most of the digital artists will dismiss it as nonsense, possibly, and which they do. I've seen a few where they promote graphics tablets. I don't know if they're sponsored or something, and then hook it up to an advanced piece of software like Photoshop, and then somehow you're supposed to. I I am an advanced user of Photoshop, and believe me, it is a beast to learn. It took me, even though I'm very technically competent, it took me quite a lot to learn the nuances of Photoshop. It's not intuitive at all. It's just not. And then I do have my opinion on drawing with those advanced software and drawing. Drawing in the true sense means, to me, give me a brush or a pen and I will free flow and draw. I don't want to run to tools, layers, you know, shapes, blurring, blending, you name it. These are demands made by people who grew up on basic tools and don't cover the core skills of the fundamental skills of art, which is what allows me to draw like this, having acquired those skill sets, having understood those core skills which are essential to art. So that's what I'm saying is keep it simple when it comes to digital. Don't just rush to an app saying I want every brush under the sun, every tool under the sun. That's for beginners. Trust me, they would do that because they don't have any core skills or techniques for doing art like the way I'm going to show you. Improve muscle memory. Yep. So important is that you continue to work, and that's what Paintology does. It makes it very easy for you to keep practicing without the drills that most artists push in front of you. So it's got something I'll show you once you've installed it. It's got like over 600 tutorials designed by categories. Yeah, so if you go to paint by numbers, pick one of these. This will come with a video that you can watch to see how it's been done, right? Okay, it shows you how it's done. Or you could, and then you could just switch between the video and using this toggle button here, and then simply just use the line brush. It's at low density settings, so, and change the size. And then as you do that, you become very comfortable in drawing. Then zoom in, you'll gradually be able to refine your strokes. Okay, so then 5, let's say 5, yeah? So you see, pick the colors that way. So this is a perfect way to get into, cancel that, let's go to scan. This is a perfect way to get into drawing, and there's so many tools. The tutorials, pencil drawing, which is shows you way to use the shade brush, which was the drawing that I do for some of the faces, portraits. It's ideal for portraits. And then you have photorealistic drawings. So this, your phone is exceptionally powerful too. Let me explain something about your phone. You have some of the technology and the built-in power of an entire room with computers that existed 40 years ago. So the same power is built in. So if let's say IBM built their power houses 40 years ago to do some computation or whatever, right? And then they had banks of servers all the way aligned across the wall. You have that same power in the phone. So why not use it for drawing, right? So anyway, so let's get back to, oh, let me finish off what I was saying here. So muscle memory means developing the confidence of drawing by doing simple tutorials from with Paintology, for example, in the tutorial section. Appreciate tones. This definitely is something that will always crop up whenever you go to art classes or anything like that. Tones is what gives any image depth. Because I have a good appreciation of tones, I'm able to make really good, impressive drawings on the phone or any other, including traditional mediums using acrylics, which I like, and charcoals. But I haven't done that for a while because I've been focused on digital drawing. Then the drawing process. This is something which is not actually explained in art by art teachers because they're constantly bombarding you with drills, shading, get the right shade, get the shade, light falling. I don't know why they always go on about light falling on a particular side, and then maybe it helps them to better explain why the different shading, but to me it's not helpful at all. I look at a particular piece, be it real life or a piece of paper or an image, and I can tell you where the light tones are. Why do I need to have a sun shining or a light source shining to tell me that? It just doesn't make sense. I can look at and then because of my previous number 3 point, appreciating tones, I can look at a drawing and then create the same without having understood what is the point of that source. I have to disagree with a lot of teachings on that area of source and light. It just maybe it tells you how light bounces off, but at the end of the day, the actual object you're drawing or the surrounding areas have tones, dark or light. That's it. And then to bring a light into and complicate things just doesn't make sense. Anyway, the forward drawing process is something which is fundamental to drawing, and it's something which is not pointed out by many artists. The reason why you want to draw is because you don't see the pleasure, well, you see the actual the reward and pleasure derived by the people who can draw. Exception is they feel they have a certain skills that they have surmounted and achieved, obstacles have surmounted, and skills they've achieved in order to get to where they are, and a lot of people will push them along, boost their ego, and that's what most of the artists in the drawing, most of the artists will do to just prop up their showcase of artworks, but not really teach you the basics of the fundamentals. And I go right down to the basics and fundamentals here. And my desire is not to showcase my skills. My desire is to teach you the skills. Okay. So the drawing process is one of them, and you really need to watch some of the videos for you to fully appreciate. I cannot tell you that until you go through the drawing process. If you want to, you're free to read some of the blog posts I've got. I think a recent one which talks about the drawing process. So please go there, paintology.com/blog. Yeah, and then you'll find the article on the drawing process if you're interested. And the fifth point, which practice is usually put right at the beginning from by most teachers, and that's wrong in my opinion, because when you start saying practice 3-4 hours a day and then keep practicing until you get it right, and then takes 2-3 years to become a good artist, god, is that really good incentive for you to draw? No, it's not fun. It's just filled with drills, exercises, and it just takes the beauty of drawing. And I'll show you that when you practice with the tutorials, you're going to really enjoy drawing, and especially the block coloring that I've been showing recently. So I want you to look at block coloring specifically, and if it mentions in the title of the videos, then follow that, and also try it. It's so easy, no drawing experience required. In fact, it trains you in two areas. It trains you on refining your drawing strokes, and number two, appreciating tones, which is really high up, number three. And then by doing that, you automatically improve number 2 point, improving your muscle memory, and that's get better and better with time. And then the whole process journey of drawing and painting is still enjoyable. It's not like you're going to hit a brick wall. You're going to keep improving at your own pace. So don't let others tell you how you should draw and what app you should use, what pencils you should use, what paper you should use. Just take all of that out of your head and start drawing. Because you got the phone, start drawing, right? Simple as that. There's nothing to stop you from getting inspiration of the way I draw as a starting point, and then following the tutorials that you'll find on the app, yeah, here. And then of course there's lots of video guides that have been designed to help you, like portrait drawing. It shows you the shading, the ellipse, and with videos you'll see all of that. And then there is shading a sphere, brush, lots of tutorials here that allow you to get going quickly. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to make this drawing in this live session. This, because I did a Painterly drawing earlier and it turned out to be quite good. Let me show you the Painterly drawing that I have. Start. So one of the Painterly drawings I did was quite nice, and it will show you. These are drawings I did. And this one, Brad Pitt. That's a photorealistic drawing, actually. This one is done on the actual tablet, so it's done freehand. And I'm going to show you. And these are pencil drawings that I found people do on with pencil and paper, and I did it on this phone. And this another drawing here. Okay, on the phone. This is a nice drawing that I want to show you. This was an abstract forest one that I did. And this was one I did of a photorealistic drawing on the phone. Okay, let me keep going. There it is. So it's going to be similar to this. And then I've noticed there's a lot of people that like this particular one, and I can understand why, because, I'm very fond of landscape drawing. I don't know about you. This is landscape drawing has been the part and parcel of most of the famous grandmasters of art. Like, for example, Cézanne, he was very fond of landscapes, and then of course you Van Gogh, and you have Monet doing the lilies, water lilies. So this one is particularly interesting, and I can see why people like it. I called it painterly drawing. So my exercise here, and this is what happens every time I draw something. I pick something new. I never do the same thing twice. I rarely do. I rarely watch a movie twice. It's just the way I'm wired. Unfortunately, well, I would if in the space of 6-7 years I'll watch another if I wanted to. But here it is, right? So I did this about 3 days back, and I realized it turned out okay. And I called it painterly because, look, you will be mistaken to see if this was done on a canvas, paper, but definitely not as a digital artwork, but it is. And you'll find this video in on the channel, okay, if you look for it. Okay, so that's why I wanted to bring that into focus again, because it typifies the painterly effect that people want to achieve now on digital. I've noticed, I've been on Quora posting a lot and answering a lot of questions for the last 3 years, and you can see my Quora profile. It's Produce Collect, and then if you want to go to the Paintology profile, it's paintology.quora.com. Yeah, so you'll see all the photos there. So you see drawings, sorry, and you'll see that I talk a lot of on a lot of topics, and mainly I answer questions on people's abilities in drawings. And so what I've found is lately people have been posting questions on digital, how they can turn it and make it look natural or traditional. Now, and my question is, why don't you start drawing manually or naturally in the first place, which is what I do. And that's the reason, that you will mistake my digital artwork for as soon as you turn to tools, you're going to have corrections going on. It's going to look surreal. The whole drawing, the final digital artwork is going to look like something fantasy from outer space. That's why a lot of digital artists do fantasy, probably one of the subjects, fantasy anime, that kind of drawing. But if you were natural, if you want to draw naturally, this is the method that I use. And I'm going to use my fingers because I found my finger is as good as a stylus. So, like I said, I'm using on the phone. So the reason I chose this because of the Painterly effect of the previous one, and I thought I'd try my hand in that. What I like about this is that you got these tones that are going on, very sharp tones, and you can download any image of your choice. You can see there's a crossbar here at the top there. Can you see it? That's just to show that I downloaded this image. I'm making use of it, but I'm making a drawing, right? So I think it should be fine if you just make a drawing. But anyway, that the point is that this shows the beauty of landscape. The reason why people do landscapes. You got the very dark trunks here, right? And then you have this this beautiful orange reddish leaves going on at the back, and then it's mixed with this green at this in the mid position location, and then there's always this path. This is definitely a road, isn't it? It's a view from the road, and anyone can take pictures like this if they venture out, into their local area. So you can always capture beautiful images like that. And so I thought this would make excellent for drawing because it shows, look at that, the misty effect of the back. Very beautiful, isn't it? And so what we're going to do is we're going to try and follow the same principles, but oops, as I did last time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I believe I used the haze brush. Right, okay. So don't think this brush is going to somehow magically make your drawings as beautiful as, the final beautiful pro. It is not. It's your technique of how you use this brush all the way. So that's where people put too much emphasis on brush. I don't know why. I'm just using the haze brush because it feels good. That's all. But when you come to do the drawing, you have to resort to your techniques of drawing, right? Okay, so let's use the haze brush, and what I'm going to do, set it at a lower, just this. You can try it. You can try whatever you like, right? So I'm going to set it at 70% because I don't want the full hardness or density, as because it's the background. I just want to put some kind of variations in tones in the colors that I pick. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're selecting that, and as you know, block coloring is the first step is block coloring, which means I'm going to take the color picker and then just make these strokes here, just filling in broadly the colors that are sitting here. So block color here, use the color picker and then just select. So this color picker does the work for you, right? Because it's selecting the tones that exist in that branch. So that's what I'm doing. I'm learning all the time. Believe me, there's not one time I haven't learned something. Right? I'm just selecting and following the lines. Look at that. You have to follow the lines, isn't it? Otherwise, you're going against the grain, as they call it. Oops, that one's too. Okay, and then we can do all these colors. Right. Notice the grass is a lot lighter at the top, so depending on how you pick. Right, I'm just putting the first pass because I'm going to show you the drawing process here using my fingers. So one other point I want to mention is phones. For heaven's sake, who's going to use phones for making drawing? Well, as you can see, I've shown you the reason why you can make good drawings. I've just zoomed in 200%, and look, I can zoom in 400%. What does that mean? That means my drawing canvas is A3 size. It's like drawing with an A3. That's the reason why I can make photorealistic drawings. So, people are very dismissive without really understanding what's behind. Okay, so here, just selecting the color tones, just laying down the first colors. Look, just laying down the first colors. Right, and then look, it just automatically picks those tones that are in the background. Just laying down then the orange color, the yellow. Okay, here. So I always try different techniques. If you're using the same techniques to draw, you'll find that you never really take your drawing to another level. You're just not, because it's all about techniques. You need to be improving your techniques. Pablo Picasso, when he was in his early days, he was drawing at this. He could make a painting that looked as good as Renoir or Rembrandt, but then he branched himself and continued developing his own techniques, and now that's how he became to be world famous. Cubism, right? If you probably heard. So follow your techniques. I'm trying to teach you techniques that most artists will not be teaching you. And digital allows you to develop these techniques. So I'm pretty sure you'll have a different opinion of digital after you watch this. Okay, just filling in that. Look at that. Remember I pointed out that beautiful. I'm just trying to fill in as much as I could. Remember that beautiful misty area here? That mysterious. That's so beautiful, isn't it? And the color tones will pick it up automatically. You don't have to do anything. If you can't, this does not require drawing skills at all. It just requires what you see and what you do with your fingers. Just use your fingers. Go over it lightly. Yeah? Look at that beautiful hair, isn't it? And then, oops, I'm not going down here yet. And you know what? With the branches, I'm going to try and get the same brush size as this. So let's see. There, perfect, isn't it? Got it first time, actually. So I reduced it. Notice I reduced it. And now I can go over these darker tones without touching the other tones and continue to build up using the tones. Okay. With this, so I'm learning all the time. I've only been using fingers lately. I never actually thought that the fingers would be so effective. I mean, it's attached to a body, isn't it? The fingers. Why wouldn't it be an effective tool for drawing as well? And it really feels comfortable when I draw with fingers. I don't know if this is too big, the branch, right? So I don't have the right size. But let me finish off all the darker areas I can think of here at the top here. Okay. All right. And then we can simply just pick these colors, go over them really rapidly. Don't spend too much time. See, I'm now. So what's happening while I'm doing this? You may think it's copying and it's not improving. You'd be totally wrong. You'll be complete. That's what I'm saying. Don't listen to people who thinks they know what they're talking about. They don't. They haven't done enough drawings to appreciate that. Tracing is a tool used by all the famous Leonardo da Vinci, you name it. They've used every tool available to improve their skills in the drawing area. And they use projectors, you name it, these casting light on it, whatever that would help them to achieve, to distill nature the way it was meant to be, right? To capture nature. And we've got digital now that can capture images for us to be inspired to draw like this particular. So I'm still using a large brush. You could use a small brush, but because of the time limit, I need to complete this drawing in this session, and I don't want you to spend the whole. I'm sure you've got a lot of things to do. You know, I don't want you to spend all the time looking at my drawings. I'm sure you want to do. I hope you're following along to this, though. All right. So the live sessions I only started just a few weeks ago, actually, but probably about 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah, and so I've enjoyed these live sessions because it sort of allows me to draw something creative and talk about the whole process while I'm drawing. Okay, I can fix that tree that we did, right, with this brush. Okay, so what have we got here? Let's have a look. Right, this looks not bad, but it goes to show that the first pass, this is where the drawing process comes into play. The first pass is this. So there are about hundreds of steps towards the final drawing, okay? And if you go to if you go through each step, you can only move to the next subsequent step if you've only achieved the step prior to it. So what I mean by this is that this could be considered as my first pass. What does that tell me? Immediately tells you the areas that you need to do. Those white areas at the top, right? I need to start doing that, which I left behind because I didn't have the right brush size. So I'm going to reduce that brush size to even further and see if that helps. Okay, let's do these branches. Oh, perfect. I'm on a roll here. I'm hitting these branches of the perfect size. Maybe that's through experience, isn't it? There. Have you noticed I sort of select the color picker all the time? These branches are going out to So always select the color picker there, and then take that. And then if it's too small, the branches, then adjust it, okay? Gonna take it down now. We're getting to the areas where the small brush size is going to make a difference to giving this drawing a bit more life. Alright, so here, just splatter the colors. Don't worry about the detail, just pick out the tones that are already there. See, you'll already do corrections as necessary when you get to a smaller brush, so I wouldn't worry about how it looks right away. So this will help you to understand the drawing process is a process that is not done in one go. Most beginners think a drawing is done in one go, in one sitting, in one pass. That's just virtually impossible. This is a drawing, these are drawing steps. That's why they all rush to tools, right? Expecting return for doing little. I'm afraid that's the world that's coming to, is that we expect quick returns for a little effort. Okay, see these ones? You can get that down here. And what is that one there? What is that? That's, have you seen that? So that is something that's created in my last brush stroke, but I can correct that now because I got the smaller brush. Okay, look at that. Beautiful. And then get this. So get that detail. So you're doing this helps you acutely become more acute with the tones. You immediately look. I've noticed that when I look at images that show up that I like, I start immediately formulating tones coming out of these images and how I should translate them into drawing. Right, so I'm just selecting, so there are no, unless you have a very high contrasty image, especially in an area, the tones are going to remain localized into a small spot like here. So you can work at real speed with your finger. Be surprised. Just fill those gaps, and then we'll zoom out and we'll say, yep, we've done the first step, the second pass, and we're going to take a look at it and see what we have done. Right, this is nothing complicated. Am I using any drawing skills? Nope, not one slightest. So that, just move back and forth. Alright, here you are. And you can use these colors dotted around. Beautiful. These are what attracted me a lot. The blue, the beautiful red. Look at that, the brown here. We're going to pick that up. And then there's dark brown. As you draw, you're giving more shape and weight. This is on the phone, on my phone with my finger and with Paintology. That's all it is. Now let's see what it looks like. See how with the detail is coming out on the foreground. And now this second or third pass tells us immediately that we just need to carry on building it. Okay? Forget layers. I don't know why they talk about layers in digital. That's perfectly fine if you want to. We still stick to this. It's fine if you want to create vector illustrations. But in drawing, like such as this fine art, the process that was developed traditionally is perfectly the way it should be done, yeah? We've seen that area. Okay, so we're going to fill the areas that we have not covered really quickly. And you've noticed that when we go here, we can go along this tree, bark of the tree, right? Follow it along. All right. Any areas that you see that has not been done, just follow it. Remember, you're going to follow the dark values, so be careful about picking the bark of the tree and not what's around it, like these green, like this green. You won't believe how much of the color palette, the tones, number of tones we've picked up. Right, don't worry about the details. Just lay down. All right. So here we haven't done anything on the top, you can see here. So we just go same thing, and then so when does our creativity come into it? Trust me, it will come into it after towards the end, automatically comes into it, because then you're going to be working directly from your own drawing, and I'll show you that creative part towards the end. After I've made the bulk of the drawing, if you could call it, after I've done the bulk of the drawing. Don't forget to save as well, just in case, there's a power failure or something. Not that the power failures happened. I think it happened once last year, that's about it. All right, look at that. Keep the cursor above into the reference image area, so you can always go through. Sometimes accidentally you'll be at the lower part and you're thinking, why is this not working? And it's only because your cursor position is in the wrong half. Just dab, 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 dab. The bigger brushes, the bigger brush it is, the more area that you can cover. It's the same principle as drawing with traditional. And then we can go fine tune for the smaller as we need it when it's needed, yeah? So just covering the area. I don't know if you've seen some artists who do the acrylic painting, they always cover the larger area first. It's very similar to that. And the orange, look at that, beautiful. And then there's some dark areas. You can see that I'm thinking ahead and seeing that I'll probably need a much smaller brush to do those finer strokes. But in the meantime, I'm having fun doing these areas, red and orange. Color picker, rest your finger on where you want the color, right? That's all it does. That's how it works. It's quite simple but powerful. You know what they say, power comes from simplicity. Even in the warfare, the simpler it is, the more success you'll have. Maybe a Chinese proverb, but I'm just speaking my mind really right now. Anyway, just keep going. Dab, dab, dab. Really fast. Look, these are two. Can you see areas that you think you might need to cover? I can't unless I go to a smaller brush, which is fine. But still, you want to make the work easy for yourself. And so to do that, what you need to do is lay down these general colors like this. Just lay it down. Pick a color, just lay down the general colors. Doesn't have to be exactly to the detail. You're not trying to replicate the exact detail. Remember, this is a painterly drawing. It's not photorealistic drawing. It's a painterly, meaning that you're giving the illusion that it's there with the minimal set of strokes, painterly effects. So I suggest so you look at some of my videos where I talk about more about that, where I've done a study on painterly effects, and that's the word that comes often. And I think you'll find it in one of my videos where I go to some length. Right, just dab filling these little regions, giving the illusion. That's what we're doing. We're going to give the illusion that there are branches and tiny leaves. Look at that. Because we're selecting different tones, we can add to this painterly effect. Let's see what it looks like. Well, we've almost covered a lot of the regions, but we need that region here. Let's see what we have. Always go back and see we don't have. That is quite open and bland because it's branches, isn't it? So we can't really do anything in that area. And there's a good reason why it's blank, right? Any areas that you see that needs covering. Here, look at that. Here. And pick that color. So it's a painterly effect. Right, let's go through here. All the areas that you can see. That's a branch going through behind those leaves. That's a smaller branch. So do we have the right size? Yeah, we could use that. Why not? Alright. There. Just pick. Just pick these colors and just give the effect. Now let's look at it. Oh, it's shaping up, isn't it? Okay, so we can see right away we got another area we need to address here. And now this is beginning to look, it's almost saying, well, how are you going to tackle me, mate? Okay, we will tackle you, not a problem. Okay, now I think this is almost beckoning us to, to do this area. So this is what I'm going to do. Go even further. Yeah, you got it. 2.6. I think the major percentage point that I use a brush is at 2%. I don't know, it's just that's the only way I can get detail. And when I'm doing photographic, let me take that up. And when I'm doing, let's see what kind of, nothing difficult. And when I'm doing photorealism, it's really, let's see what it looks like. Let's just follow the strokes and see if we've done a reasonably good job and with that to get away with that painterly effect, you know, that too much effort. Let's see what it looks like from the outside. Come on. I think that's all right. You see that region there? I think that's okay, and we can come back to it and do more. But in the meantime, we can carry on using this small brush size. Maybe a tad more on the, give it a little bit. Look at that. Lovely, isn't it? And then pick that brush, tone, just work your way. And then pick this tone, and then just work your way and pick, it'll be lighter tone there. And then here. And that's where you can experiment. Look at that here. Look at here. And then I can take that bit out, give it form now, isn't it? At the same time, just pick those tones, pick those. I mean, I don't think people will notice if you've got a little more of a, look, this one. See how I retreat that back? Remember with the larger brush, we have that. I'll take that back as well. Here. Any little areas that we haven't addressed. Let's see what that looks like. It's not looking too badly, is it? And then we can see that we can keep going, yeah? So let's go here. Just finish it really, go rapidly. Let's see what that looks. Remember, you need to always turn back to look at your drawing. And don't ever feel disappointed that you're not making progress. You just need to do something different, that's all. That's all it's saying. That's why experimentation is really important. So let me just go here quickly. Let me see what I have here. Look at that. I've even covered the look, that you learn something as you do something like that. You learn the effects. Create the illusion. That's all you're doing, Painterly. Look at that here. The same thing. Creating the illusion. And then towards the end, you'll see that I sort of touch it up to give it a bit more of a painterly feeling. Right. Painterly expression. So lovely, isn't it? Now, look at this here. Got that tree there. It's really quite bold. So we're going to measure that. Take that. Okay. Then you can see I'm already getting to my elements now. So you can keep it, show that, okay? So you can see your drawing now. Now I'm moving, shifting slowly to my line of looking at these tones and contrasts that are coming up. Then learning each time to see how the landscape's formed. Here, look at that beautiful yellow. Just capture that. And then here, oh, beautiful. Green always running across here. And then we have that, just so you'll see how that sort of blends out into the, because the white is probably a good, it gives you a good basis for finding the holes. Drawing so very quickly, and let's see how we've done. So it's already improving. Now what do we do? Okay, we're gonna go here. And here. And then the yellow. And here. Look at that. That's a beautiful part of the tree. Look at those yellow. And capture, put it wherever you think that may be. So because we're trying to cover the region really quickly with our fingers. Trust me, and the fingers is like far better, in my opinion, than using a stylus. Okay, look at that there. So it's not really any drawing experience required, is it? To be honest with you, you just basically, so this is a painterly way of, you're basically trying to just trace, isn't it? Tracing, and at the same time really developing what needs to be done, learning what these brushes are doing. So it's so powerful, you can go on. All right. Oh, it's so good, isn't it? Let me show you how to do this. Make this branch look really, really good. Here, let's go here because we're right at the 4. Let's take that all the way up, right at the. So always, this is where we'll go. I automatically switch more to my drawing because I've got certain things done on my drawing, and then I'm able to use this cursor just by flicking and then flicking, so I can select the color picker and then I can go and see what areas that needs to be done here. And here's a color that I can pick. So little here, the color that I need to pick. Right. Notice I'm going along the branch here. This really trains you now. It's now you're beginning to do more of you're now doing more of your drawing now. You're working with your drawing and giving it shape. So here, then just take that the white bits out here, and then go along here, see that? But here, so just picking these colors, they're really hard density, so you gotta be careful how you use it, but it will come in time. Your knowledge will increase, your experience will increase. Look at that, it's got that beautiful, like, hazy brown color that's surrounding it here. And then you got this, right, and then dark elements here. Just work it. And then look at that black. That's really sharp, isn't it? Gives it shape, isn't it? Gives it solid, some kind of solidity to the whole thing. And you'll see how quickly we made a difference to this tree now, yeah? Look, you can see the tree is almost taking shape like it's supposed to be a tree, right? This is what painting is all about. Trust me. It's beautiful. Like, we're going to work this magic of the brush. Oh, God. I've got to fix this. Here, look. It's going to work at the magic of that brush here, down at the roots. Right here. And then it's like here. And then here, right? So we got something like this. Remember, we were using really white, wide brush. So now here, let's bring that sky down, the dark, and then just create the shapes. See, I'm not trying to follow the image much, but trying to follow the basics of it. All right. Then look at that. Got this beautiful, this ground material, and then just go over it. And what I often do is I often use the colors here as well from the palette. So here, just refine this shape, right? And then add this bit here, right? And you got this element, this little branch there. Oops. Right? And then, oh yeah, we're getting the flow of this, isn't it? this dark tone is here on that tree line here. Look at that yellow. What is that? I've got to put some of that yellow in there, isn't it? What is that there? It's a beautiful yellow. What is that? I don't know what it is. But you got some there going on here. And then you can increase the yellow like this if you wanted to. And then you got that green. It's like flowers, isn't it? Flowers blossoming blue. You've got some of that blue. That's hard to pick out, but I managed to do it actually. And then take that blue and put it light. All right? No biggie. That's what Painterly effect is all about. All right, let's see how we're doing on the base. You can see the base is coming out nicely, isn't it? Let me move that to the right. And then let's just finish off this base. So notice here that we've got this down here, and because we've reached this step, I'm going to reiterate the drawing process. Because we've reached this step, we can now see what more needs to be done. If you had not reached this step, it would look like a blank canvas all the way to a fine piece of art, which most beginners are most beginners are wired into thinking. Excuse me for a while. Hello, I'm back. So what I was saying is, yeah, so the drawing process, you can see I'm building it up slowly and slowly. And that's all it takes. I think I might bring it down a bit to 80%, about thereabouts. So we got something going on here. So we pick the color picker, then we go back. It will give the impression that there's something happening here, isn't it? Right, so let's see. It's coming out nicely. So you can see here that because we reached this step, we need to do something. So look at the image and look at your drawing, and now you're focused more with your drawing instrument. And just try and emulate that painterly effect. Nothing more, just trying to emulate that in a random order. Pick another tone. Pick another tone. If you don't get the right tone, so what? It's a landscape. It's all part of your creation. You do what you think looks good, and you'll be surprised with what you do, you pull off. Right, there's a lot of shrubbery here, isn't it? This is where it really becomes, look at that red. Right, this bit of red and then that beautiful yellow, probably light bouncing off it. And more of the black. There's a lot of the black here, isn't it? Let's just work it out. This sort of green that you see that falls off the base of the tree, isn't it? And then use the color just to shape it. And then what have we got here? Let's put this down here. Look at that twig there, isn't it? Beautiful black twig. So we can just put, okay, you want a twig here? Okay, why not? And then since we're working with the different colors here, we can pick some colors that may be useful, right? Some light. I'm thinking of a lighter color, maybe. Look, that could be a little too dark, so you can soften it using that. There's so much effects that you can create. Right? Look at that, so much effects. And then here, bring that tree branch. Yeah, this is where you get really creative. Right? Look at that. That's just a straight, solid white, and then that's what you want to shape this tree. And then here we can see this blatantly obvious that we need to do something there. And then we could add as many flowers as you wish. Remember, you've got the palette here. It's a little bit yellow. Why not? Add a bit of yellow, brown here, because now you can really experiment. This is Paintology. No? Bit of dark here. Right. And then let's see what we have. Look, we created something great, isn't it? And now you can see here that green might flow through there, giving the illusion that twigs up in the air somewhere. See, this is how you get into, and then we might have a different look. That's good, isn't it? Maybe it needs to go up a light a bit. Everything is under your control now. And then here you can see that. Okay, we can go here. And then pick this. Okay. Everything is under your control. Painterly, that's all it is. Wherever you see marks, just do it. That's a painterly effect. Now we can continue our journey on this path. At the bottom. Okay. beautiful, isn't it? Right, then we can add a little bit of darkness, even keep that, some of that, add a little bit of darkness to show that this is a solid road. And then what do we have here? Yeah, got, it's actually doing exactly what I presumed. Black. And then we can focus on this. Look at that, it's a bit of bed of grass here. That's just shooting up. And then another color, pick that. Use the brush effect. I think I'm going to take it up a bit more. This is from experience. I can't tell you exactly why I did it, but you know, it's from experience that you learn. It's what the effects you want to achieve. That there's some darker tones that are going that way. It's like to show that it's a real bed of something, isn't it? There. Let's see what we have here. So it's still the road. Somehow. Okay, we've got this. Crisscross, crisscross. Just crisscross. And here, just that, take that blending. Blend that sort of area that we use the broad brush. And then pick another color. Oops. I always make that mistake. I've got to shift the zoom button away. Away from the color picker, I think. Okay, so here, right, and then here, some lovely red. Let's pick, so we got some of that deep red, yeah, we have. Right, whatever you do with your fingers works beautifully. Let's carry some of that red there, why not, right? Let's see what that looks like. Look, even that's some of that red there. See how it's now you're tuned into thinking, what, this brush is way too thick. Here, let's pick a green. Right here. Right, just doing that area on the base here. Let's see what that looks like. Look at that. It looks like there's some. It's a big improvement, isn't it? Would you agree? Yeah. So now you can see where I'm going with this. Let's take that brown. Take the black. I need to take a bit of the black. Yeah, I just feel like a black needs to go there. And then a bit more black. Right, and then look, don't have to, and then now you can see this area needs addressing. We just keep going. Follow the direction of the plants as well, you know, whichever they're going. Look at that beautiful brown here, there. And then if you need to go back to the lighter warm brown, then do that, not a problem. Then this beautiful green here, bush. Right, the green, yeah. So you got your color palette that you can work with. And then let's see what we have here. We've got more of the darker, so we need to make sure that we've somehow created this sort of a brown there's a deep brown here. So let's go. And then, oh, I'll do that again. Black. It almost looks like it's part of the, that's what I'm doing, just mixing, giving the illusion of color. And then that's what we have here. Yeah, we've got these dark things growing. And then we can take it up here, darker on the color. Right. Shaping that. And then it's like this really fine willow, diffused the back here. This is how Monet creates his field. You know, he uses his eye. And the techniques are so easy. You just go with your fingers. That's a bit too harsh. Then I take a bit of the green. So what have we got here? Look at that. That is almost like done, isn't it? In that, it's like I'm gonna try and fix that tree. Pick that color. I don't want that area to be dominated by that. The tree should have a fine base. Okay. All right. Let's see where we are on that. Well, there you are. You can see that it is going, shaping up, and it's beginning to take shape into what it is. I know this is going to take a bit more because I'm going to work on the trees, the leaves, and the top, and work my way to the top. And then you can check out the final drawing on the YouTube channel. So I will post this once I'm finished on the YouTube channel, on the video section, apart from the fact that you can see this in the live tab. You'll see this in the YouTube section. So it's a bit longer than I thought, and because I'm adding more details into it, and I'm learning as well at the same time. Believe me, it's a learning process all the time as I continue to draw. So this is trying to bring up more detail. I'm fleshing out more of the tones, even though it's a painterly. It's still trying to bring out some of the strong details of this whole drawing, which consists of fine details anyway. And so that's why I'm sort of tuned into that, and I feel like I can take this in another direction. It'll still be painterly, but take in another direction where it will look like you managed to get closer to nature with the artwork. So I hope I've taught you a few things here, and I hope you continue with your journey in drawing and painting, and learn how to draw and paint. It's not like most people make it out to be, like a skill sets people are born with low. People who are good at drawing like to think so. Some people, others, like myself, feel it's you never reach the end. You'll always, the journey continues for as long as you live. You know, you'll never reach the pinnacle, and that's what makes this whole journey really beautiful. Okay, so hope you've enjoyed it, and hope to see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.